this important issue. We're hearing from someone who has been very much on the ground where this happening is occurring as we speak. Cody Two Bears was elected into the Standing Rock Sioux Tribal Council in 2013. As he told us over lunch, he's the youngest member of that fairly young council, and he still wonders how he got there, but he's recognizing that he is in the right place at the right time. The Standing Rock Sioux Tribe has 2.3 million acres of land and is the 5th largest tribe in the United States. Cody Two Bears represents the Cannonball community in North Dakota. He's in his 3rd year of his 4-year term as tribal council of the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe. He also serves on the Health, Education, and Welfare Committee for his tribe. Cody's a direct descendant of Chief Two Bears, who was one of the prominent chiefs of the Upper Yanktonese. The people's hunting territory ranged from the upper eastern Dakota Territory to the Missouri River. This is why today he is currently opposing the Dakota Access Pipeline and the Army Corps of Engineers from crossing the Missouri River only a half-mile north from his community in Cannonball. The Dakota Access Pipeline plans to go through 5 states and will transfer 470,000 barrels of crude Bakken oil per day if completed. Cody's goal today is to protect his tribe's treaty rights and to help preserve and protect his tribe's sacred sites, land, and most especially their water for future generations to come. Cody Two Bears.
Good, thank you. Thank you everybody for coming. Usually, how we usually start in our cultural ways, we always start with a prayer. Anytime we start, whether we're eating or whether it's a meeting or anything in general, when we talk about discussions like this, it's always good to have a word of prayer. And our protocol, as Native peoples, is to call on a local elder to say the prayer. And today I have Dan Hill from the Cayuga Nation, and he's going to offer the prayer before we start the meeting. So, Dan.
Our way is to have the words before all else, things we say before we do any kind of business, like before we mentioned. And we start with earth. We give thanks for the Creator for creating the earth and putting us, having us a place to walk on and for things to grow and provide oxygen for us and the trees. And this goes in levels all the way up to the Creator. And after the earth and after the trees, it's the waters that we thank. We thank the water for bringing the thunderers, the clouds that come from the west, bringing the water here, replenishing that cycle of water. And so that's very important. As we know and as we're seeing, our waters are limited, are finite, and are being threatened. And so that's why in our words before all else, we remind us of all the things that we're dependent on that the Creator put in place. Those are our original instructions, and we're supposed to follow them and not go away from that, because future generations will suffer for that. So.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, just to kind of, there's a lot to kind of go over as far as what's going to happen. But I kind of wanted to share some of the history with you before we kind of get into the nitty-gritty of the Dakota Access Pipeline. So we can go ahead and put the next picture. But first and foremost, before I start anything off, I always, our ways and our culture is to tell who I am, where I'm from, and my background. And that's always been our way of life. And so anytime you see somebody, hi, what's your name? Where are you from? So that's kind of what I'm going to share with you today. But so this is kind of how I started out. Is in our language, we say Hamadakyapi. Hamadakyapi. That means all our relations. Hello, all my relations. And why we say that in our culture is because one way, shape, or form, we're all related. We're all connected. And that's something that I think a lot of people need to understand one way or another. It's not about black, white, brown, nothing. One way or another, we're all connected. We're all connected to Mother Earth. So that's why we say that, how the God be to you all my relations. My Indian name is Tate Wakata, which means highway, which was given to me by my grandpa when I was a young man. And he told me many, many stories about why he gave me that name. And today, I pray a lot. And when we need wind or whatever is in need, he gave me that Indian name so I can create wind and help people in that manner. So that's why he gave me Tate Wakata, high wind. That's my Indian name. So just wanted to kind of let you know that. But my English name, of course, is Cody Two Bears. Of course, Two Bears, you just heard Marion say. Chief Two Bears, that's where I come from. I come from a line of chiefs. All that works is the oldest son would always carry that down in our history and our ways. So, moving down, the chiefs, Chief Two Bears is in my blood as well. So, and in our culture, that's Tonupa. That's how we would say it. Tonupa. So that's my name, Cody Two Bears, my English name. I'm a Dakota Yanktonais. A lot of us are referred to as Sioux, right? We all know the word Sioux. Well, Sioux is not really something that was how we proclaimed ourselves. It was something that was given. It was actually outside. Somebody said, "Oh, those are Sioux," because they heard of a Mni Wiconi, a group out of the Ojibways. And for some reason they thought, well, Sioux, that's what they're called, Sioux. But we're actually not really Sioux people. We're Dakota, Lakota. Wachete Shakoe is what we say in our language, which is the 7 council fires, 7 bands. And out of those 7 bands, I'm the Yanktonais tribe, from the Cuthead band. So that's kind of where I come from and my roots. And Marie kind of specified it all. My roots come from along the Missouri River in the upper Yanktonais area. So borders North and South Dakota, basically. Just kind of clear that up for you. That's where I come from. That's where our ancestors grew up. That's where, where everything happened in that area for our people. That's our original homelands, is in that area. So, but today I come to you with all we say is Chante Washte, a good heart. I come to you today, and I thank you all for allowing me to be here. And what honor it is for me to be here in front of you people. And also to pay respects to, I've been kind of working on this word, but I think I got the hang of it. Hedawasani, the Hedawasani land. This is where we're at. The Hedawasanis. Yep. Oh, Hodinosan. Sani, yeah, there you go, I'm sorry. As our protocols, we always try to let people know wherever, if you're coming to a certain territory, to recognize these people, because I'm on their land today. And I thank them for allowing me to be on this land here today. So moving forward, I guess you can see this is actually original treaty land. Okay? So you can see it kind of stretches within 5 states, right? A lot of land. This is the original 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty. So this is what the federal government agreed with our people, the Great Sioux Nation, in 1868. So that's actually a trust obligation by this government that gave us this land. So that's kind of the overview on why I say, if we talk about original treaty territories, when I say that, this is the original treaty territory here. And it's a lot of land there. So basically, to kind of start with our history, you can kind of go to the next slide. This is actually the proposed route of the Dakota Access Pipeline. And right here is the community I represent, which is Cannonball. Everybody can kind of see that. And that's the actual route that it's going to be taking. So, and this is actually, you can barely see it, but this is the current reservation land today. You can kind of see it where it says Standing Rock Indian Reservation. From our original territories, you ask, well, why isn't that still original treaty territory? Why isn't that today? Well, there's a lot of different examples. We all heard of the Black Hills, right? So a lot of you ever heard of the Black Hills and what they found and the gold and different things like that. Well, in 1874, General Custer put out word that there's gold in the Black Hills on our lands. So when they found that out, they all start coming into our homelands, finding where is this gold? Where is this gold? In 1876, oh, I'm sorry, I kind of got this screwed up here. Actually, and there's a lot of different things. 1875, President Ulysses S. Grant. Everybody know that? That presidential name? Well, he's the one that ordered to break our treaty rights in violation of U.S. law. He broke his own law by saying, let's go in there and invade their land. And let's go take that gold. Soon after that happened, there was a big fight. And then in 1876, a year after that all happened, there was, we call it the Battle of the Greasy Grass, but for all you guys know, it's the Battle of the Little Bighorn, which is a historical battle that you all learn in your history books. And that's something that we as a tribe are really proud of, the Great Sioux Nation, is that we were the only people at that time to ever defeat the U.S. government in battle. We won that war. We defeated George Custer in that war. To this day, we're the only group to ever do that, moving forward. And then, so after that, we had that battle. They wanted to come to a peace agreement again. But we still to this day have never agreed upon shrinking our lands. So what they did was the Congressional Act of February 28, 1877, it was called the Sell or Starve Bill. You guys can look that up. So they just did a congressional act on our people without consulting with us, saying, we're going to take this land, we're going to take the Black Hills from you. So that's what they did. So moving forward now, they split our land up. You can go to the next slide. The reservation here, we have 8 or 9 different reservations down there. They split us up. As Indian people, it seems like when we come together, they worry or they panic. And it's probably something you've seen today with what's going on now. There's a lot of Indian people are gathering again, and they're getting worried. The local, state government is getting worried about what we're doing. So they split us up in different reservations now, and that's why I'm from the Standing Rock Indian Reservation, which is right here. And it kind of drops down into South Dakota, right through in here. So we border 2 states. That's the reservation that we were put on back then, and that's when the BIA started, Department of Interior, BIA, of Indian Affairs. Have you heard of that? So we call this an agency, Standing Rock. They gave us that name, Standing Rock Agency, right? So there's kind of some brief background and history on that part and that perspective on why today, as we move forward, we still say that that pipeline that's coming through here, a half mile north of Cannonball, is on original treaty territory land, sacred burial sites. That's where we roamed for 500 years. We were the first peoples of this land. And so that's what we're fighting today. This is the Missouri River, which the pipeline was going to be put here. Moving down forward here is going to affect 20 to 25 million people moving downstream. So that's some of the things that are, we're looking into as far as what can we do to stop this. So just kind of some brief history on that as far as all the congressional acts and things that happened, and just kind of wanted to share a little story after that. After they did the Act of Congress bill, took our land away, about 10 years later, we heard of the Battle of Wounded Knee. Also happened on our lands. And they hit us when we were out having a council fire meeting with all the headsmen, all the chiefs. They were having a meeting and they attacked our camp. And when they attacked our camp, they ended up killing 84 men, 44 women, and 18 children at that time. So they kind of attacked us when we weren't ready. So ever since then, now there's a big memorial over there, Battle of Wounded Knee. So those are just types of things that when I tell you, my nation in particular, the Great Sioux Nation, we have issues with trust sometimes with the government. because of all the wrongdoings, right? That's probably a lot of you sitting here have these trust issues, you know. And my grandpa, great-great-great-grandpa, Chief Two Bears, you know, he made that comment. He knew that because he actually was one of the last people to sign the Fort Laramie Treaty. And he specifically said, I don't want to sign this because I know that they're not going to fulfill this treaty agreement. Because it's supposed to be as long as the grass grows and the river flows. That's what's in our treaty. They're supposed to honor that. You know, as long as the grass grows and the river flows. But they've never fulfilled that. To this day, they're still thinking they could come onto our land, onto our ancestral lands, and take our natural resources. And that's why I'm here today, is because I'm kind of upset. Because it's just like somebody digging up a veterans memorial cemetery. I mean, could you imagine how horrific that would be? Well, that's what they're doing today to my people. They're tearing up our land, our burial grounds. I mean, these have been there for 500 years. They've sent in the best archaeologists in the country to say, there's nothing here. But Section 106 would tell us, no. It's their own federal law that they created in 1993. We didn't create that, the government created that. Again, in 1993, Historical Preservation Act. You look that up. 1993 is when Congress passed that to make that into law, where tribal monitors and tribal people can go and survey their ancestral lands to make sure if it's a historical site, to protect them. So that was passed. And now, not even 20-some years later now, they're trying to break that again. And they have been. And that's kind of the consequences of what we're trying to find ways to stop what's going on. But I guess moving forward, I just wanted to show you that this is our land. We actually have 3 camps, protest camps, that actually started right north of Cannonball here. And this, there's a Cannonball River that crosses right into the Missouri right here. It doesn't show it. Then the second camp was on this side, and then the overflow camp is just north of the river. So you go and go to the next slide. This is the consequences of what's going on. 1806, that road that comes from Bismarck to Standing Rock. They keep telling us that we're doing unlawful things with the Dakota Access Pipeline. And we keep telling them that we're moving forward in, with prayer, in peace. And I know you've seen a lot of videos out there. I know you've seen quite a few of them. You know, and they're trying to antagonize us to push our buttons. They want us to make a mistake. And they keep telling my people we cannot do that. Because the more we keep moving forward the way we're moving, the state is the one that's doing the wrong. They're the ones that are making the mistakes. And we got to continue on that same road that we've been with prayer and peace. So this is actually the consequence now, is they're not allowing, and this is a state highway road. They don't want people to come and join us in the fight. They're doing everywhere they can to stop us from protecting our water. And I had a discussion with Marion, and you know, the governor, Dalrymple, has interests, money involved in these pipelines. So they're going to do what they can to try to discredit us as a state. And they have been. And I will show you a few things that are going to be mind-boggling on what the local media is doing to us. They're making it seem like we're in the wrong. But all we're trying to do is protect them from themselves. We're praying for them, so their children as well can have water. So they can preserve what they have for their children. That's all we're trying to do. We're not trying to hurt no one. So when a lot of people say we're protesters, you know, which is kind of right. Well, actually, we're protectors. We're protectors. That's why we all gathered here today. And it's just not Native people, it's non-Native people that are there. People from all over the world. And now you see there's rallies going on. I mean, last time I heard there was one right down in Dallas. Heard one downtown LA. Okay, we had one over here in Philadelphia. When we were in DC, they had quite a few of them. I got messages of protests all the way from Germany, Australia, all supporting this cause. And you know, like I said, you know, it's Mni Wiconi. That's what this whole topic here is today. Water of life in our language. Because we talked about this. About 80 to 85% of our bodies contain water. We need water to survive. We need water to grow. We need water to flourish. So that's why it's such an important topic today. Because every single time, or every single day that goes by, we hear what? Oil spill. Pipeline break. You know, and these types of things in our environment. In July this year was one of the hottest months on record in history. You know, it's real. It's happening. You know, and that's what I kind of wanted to share with you about. Next, this is the actual blockade that's happening. This is actually the camp. Now, there's actually more now. This was when I had about 2,000 people. Almost double that. That's what I couldn't get a current picture. I think the next one might show a lot better. But this is actually Cannonball River. And then on this side would be the Missouri coming down. So this is actually the protest site right here, where our tribe is providing services as far as porta potties, roll-offs for trash. You know, we do what we can, and this is where all the donations are going. So anytime you want to donate, I think Maureen's going to have something to pass out for you. How can I help? What can we donate? We have a list of things there. If you guys wanted to donate money, there's also a thing for that to make sure that it goes to the right location. Because there was a lot of GoFundMe accounts out there. And I don't know really where those were going or what they're being used for. But I can tell you that, you know, if it goes to the tribe, that it's going to be used for the right reasons. And moving forward, you can go ahead to the next slide. This is a picture that was taken, I think, at night. And this, you can see all the flags right here. This was taken a couple nights ago. And you can see all the flags. The entrance is here. And we have over like 160 flags hanging from all nations from all over the country at the camp. And they have events there. It's almost like old times. I always say it brings you back to the old times people used to live. And I've never thought I'd see something like this in my lifetime. You know, all races come together for one common cause. And I think what Standing Rock is doing today is not only just for what we're doing for our water, but it's starting to wake people up to say, hey, this is going on in my community now. Now I'm going to rise up. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to do what I can to stop what's happening in my community. You know, and like I said, it's the 1% we're up against. It's the 1% that controls this economy in this country. And we know that. And just to kind of tell you the uphill battle that we are facing as a tribe, that this is not something that Standing Rock wanted. This is not something we asked for. But prophecy would tell us this is something, we knew something big was going to happen in Native country. We knew this was coming. We didn't know what. We had a lot of ceremonies. We talked about things. We knew something big was going to happen. And then we found out this happened. It's not just about our water, but it was about reuniting a country, the world. And enough is enough. And that's basically how I have to put that, is that what we're doing in Standing Rock, if it doesn't necessarily help us, if that pipeline goes through our river, I guarantee you it's going to change how people do things moving forward. It's going to change how people look at their policies over in DC. So there is going to be good coming out of this no matter what happens. No matter what. But just to kind of tell you what we're up against. We took them to court, Washington, D.C. You've seen that, you heard of it, put an injunction out there. And the judge is supposed to do a ruling this week. It's a big week for us. And you can go ahead to the next slide. So the judge wanted to see more evidence of where exactly are these sites. Okay, where are they at? I want to see a map. And the past events that happened yesterday, or Saturday, 2 days ago, we submitted a map to the judge. We found a significant amount of historic sites, tons of them, along that corridor where they're trying to lay that pipe, right along where they're trying to go underneath the water. It's old burial grounds. Significantly a lot there. So what does Dakota Access Pipeline do? They get that information, because legally they can get that. Once we give it to the judge, their side can get it. They were doing construction 30 miles away from our homeland. They were making their way there. We stopped them 2 weeks ago because they were trying to build an access road to the drill pad site where the Missouri River is, north of our. We stopped them. They haven't done construction for 2 weeks in our area. So they were 30 miles away. When they got this report of where these sites were on Friday, Saturday they came. Right where those sites were. They stopped their construction where they were going. They went right to those sites and start attacking them. And you ask yourself, why did they do that? What's their thinking? And a smart thinker would tell you that the reason why they're doing this is because once they blade and grade the land, they take off an inch off the top. They call it damaged land legally. So once it's damaged land, we can't attack them through that process no more. Then they're able to lay pipeline through there because it's damaged now. So then you ask yourself, well, why didn't we stop it? Well, we did. They damaged some. The heartbreaking part was about 40% of what we turned in on that Friday, they damaged. We still have another 60% that they're fighting today. As we speak, they're up there. Trying not to allow them to damage our lands. But that goes back to the judge. 2 weeks, I thought I was disappointed. I wanted a decision that day. Because now the longer he holds off, the longer things can happen. Now we ask ourselves, why can't we stop this? Because the land that I showed you it's on private land. You say, why can't President Obama put a law in there and veto this? Like he did that last pipeline, right? The reason why he was able to veto that pipeline is because it came on foreign soil. That's why he was able to veto that. This pipeline here is a lot harder to stop. The only thing that can stop this from happening on private land is the water. Corps of Engineers. That's why we took the Corps of Engineers to court instead of Dakota Access Pipeline. We all heard the word eminent domain. You hear that happen to so many people out there, so many farmers, so many ranchers taking their land away by the state. If you don't take this money, we're going to take it away anyway. Right? You hear of Iowa. People in Iowa, non-natives there, standing up for their rights. There they were burning excavators, they were burning machinery down, people getting arrested. The same day we had about 8 arrested, they had 30 arrested there. So this is a big deal, this 5-state pipeline. But going back to what I'm saying as far as our uphill battle with the Dakota Access Pipeline, is we're going against a multi-billion dollar industry. I'm talking the best of the best. All-star lawyers. They have over 1,000 lawyers on this case. And what do we have? Nowhere near that. They have billions of dollars to fight us in court. What do we have? Just to file the injunction and the complaint, $500,000. And we say, this is not going to end today. This is only the beginning. Because what happens this week is going to be an appeal process. But what we're trying to do, and why we sued the Corps, is because they're fast-tracking the system. They're allowing what they call a nationwide permit 12, which is a way to fast-track it through the water, so they're able to drill under it. So that's why our only avenue is to stop the Corps from approving that permit to allow them to go under that water, because if we stop that, we stop the whole project. That's why it's so key for Standing Rock. That's the only way we can stop this pipeline, is that we stop them from going under our water through the permit process. And we're asking for a full EIS, Environment Impact Statement, which takes a lot of time. But as you know, these big oil industries, each day they're not in service, they lose $300,000–$400,000 a day. They lose a lot of money. So the more we can delay them, the more they might say, hey, we need to move this elsewhere. But the things that, this is a picture of Sitting Bull. We all know Chief Sitting Bull, one of our famous chiefs of the Great Sioux Nation. Some guy came and painted this. There's our Standing Rock Sioux Tribal flag with the next slide. This is our entrance into the camp. I just thought that was unique to see that. Pretty cool. This right here is really historical to us. You don't see this. I wish I had a picture on the front side. This is what we call a council lodge. And you may say, well, it looks like a regular teepee, but actually it's more stretched out. And why this has a historical significance to us, and why this was on camp, is because this has not ever been put up for 130 years, since the Battle of the Little Bighorn. Before we went to battle, we all gathered in the council lodge. We all gathered in that, like we're doing today. That's why I say this is so sacred, this is so amazing, that we have not gathered as Indian nations for 130 years. And then that's just the Great Sioux Nation. We have not gathered on our own lands like this for 500 years. And now all the tribal nations are gathered. I had the Senecas, they were just here last week down there supporting us. The Onondagas, their flag is hanging at the camp. They're down there, representation. There's people from this area that are over there now, fighting. But I just thought I'd show you that this is where we all meet as a Ochete Shakoi, like I told you. We're 7 council fires. We put this up for our headsmen. You may think that, oh, I'm the elected official here. No, I am, but I'm not the one that makes these decisions. It's my ancestors, it's our elders. It's our spiritual ones that lead us, guide us. They meet in here and they tell us what we should be doing. So I'm just a messenger. That's all I am. But you can go to the next slide. But that has not been put up in 130 years. And we defeated, like I said, the Battle of Little Bighorn. We won that war because of what we did. So that was up today. Hopefully we can defeat the Dakota Access Pipeline. This is just a picture of the people. This is the camp. And every day they walk from camp down to the protest site and pray. Every morning around 10 o'clock. They go down there. Where they're actually doing construction and they pray. So that's kind of what they do. But that just kind of gives you an idea there on how much actual people are there day to day. This here was the Washington State tribes. Every single day that I've been present with this whole situation is that we bring in tribes and their chiefs. Every day there's been one. Every single day. This day here was historic. These are the northeastern tribes of Washington. This guy's the Yakima chairman. The Suquamish, the Squallies, all fishermen people. They all know these guys are on the water 3-4 hours a day. They live on the water. They know what water means to them. They came in support of the tribe. Not just them, like I said, a lot of nations are coming and have come every single day, bringing stuff, showing support. But I thought I want to show you that picture. Could hit the next one. Here's the actual protest site. Right here is where they built an access road. There was never no road into the land. They tried building this. And then the land behind them is where they're trying to build the access road for the drilling pad site. It's 200 feet by 200 feet where they're drilling down. That's where the access road is, just north of our camp, ancestral lands, where we're trying to stop them. And they have stopped them numerous times. Continue to stop them. But that's how it looks on a day-to-day basis there. When they see construction people, there's 1,000 people there every day, at least. Go to the next slide. Okay, we're going to show a video next. Oh, not that one yet. Let's show the video. Before I get into that, real quick, that's why I wanted to show. This next thing I'm going to show you is exactly what happens when we protest. Yeah, you may hear some verbal things. You may hear people being strong voice. That's what God gave us, is our voice. The Creator, the Gashila, as we say in our language. He gave us this voice to speak, to talk, to stand up for what you believe in. So some of these guys are real passionate, real passionate, right? And they may say things, but in all reality, none of our people, and I can tell you this today, have threatened or went at somebody. They're just standing there talking to them. Why are you doing this? We want the water. We don't want you here. You know? But then now they bring dogs. And this happened when I told you that they quit construction 30 miles away and they came right to our sacred sites. And they got that map. This just happened on Saturday. And I almost didn't come. After this happened. But something told me, and I went to ceremony the night before I came. After this happened, I went to ceremony. And I was told that I needed to be here. I needed to create awareness for what's going on. We need to get the true picture of what's really happening out there. And how the local and state media is proclaiming something that's not true about what's happening. If anything's unlawful, it's what they're doing to us. When this happened, when we're at the protest sites 2 weeks ago, the local highway patrol called in from all over the state to come down and help. They're helping the construction workers, in between the construction workers and the protesters, trying to say we're here to make sure things are running smoothly, right? Well, they were there. But when this happened, the local HP was a half mile away, all standing there watching us get bit by dogs. So they were protecting the construction workers, but where's our protection now? When we needed protection, they should have been there. But it didn't happen. They were standing there watching our people get maced for no reason. Release these dogs on our people. When they should have been in between us, protecting that. It's almost like they knew what was going to go down and they allowed it to happen to our people. But when our people went across and trespass, hold it right there. No, you can't do that. You're going to jail. But it's okay for these private companies. Now, who brought in these dogs? This is Dakota Access Pipeline's private security that they hired. This is who these guys are. These guys are mercenaries. They're Navy SEALs. They're all retired. Coming in trying to help these people. Trying to stop us from protesting. So go ahead and play the video. And I apologize if it gets violent or you might hear some words. Play the video.
Most of I get to see my whole body all hot. What's your name? Where are you from? We've been flying horse from North Dakota.
And they set the dogs on us and they started spraying us. Before I got sprayed, I seen dogs biting people indiscriminately, including the Dakota Access Pipeline workers.
I was just going toward the truck with my dog, and then the guy just leaned out and pepper sprayed me. Thankfully, he didn't eat my dog, but I just got base all over my ass.
So that was all the events that happened. And there was actually more graphical, physically pictures of them getting bit, and I didn't want to show too much of that. But this is actually the comment. Okay, this was released 2 hours later by the media. You want to go to the last one there? This is what the media said. Local media. Also, another local media said it got unlawful down there again, right? They hurt 2 dogs. One lost a tooth. That's what they said in the actual Tribune paper that we have. 2 dogs got hurt. Oh, well, how do you think that dog lost his tooth? The dog actually attacked us. But instead, the media stuck up for the dogs. These are well-trained, vicious pit bull, German Shepherd dogs. Had pictures of dogs with blood all over their teeth. And look at this is what we face every day, right here. Every day we fight our local government for the truth. And the truth is out there because when I talked to Anna and different ones, and I said, thank goodness for Facebook Live, right? I don't know how many of us use Facebook Live out there, but that just came out like 2-3 months ago. And that's how we're getting our word out there. That's where you see the real truth is social media. Then you ask yourself, why isn't this on national news? This should be on national news. It should be on every news thing in the country. And I encourage you to go out there and go to Lawrence O'Donnell. When you're on YouTube, type his name in. There's a video out there that he put out about Native Americans. And he told the truth. This is the first actual Native MSNBC. The Last Word. He's on every night for an hour. And he actually put out a really good piece about Native Americans. The truth on what's really going on. So we invited him to Standing Rock. And he came. And we honored him. And that's why I encourage people today, before we take questions, is that before we jump to conclusions on what's really going on, don't be afraid to go see it for yourself. Go to that camp and see what happens down there every single day. How peaceful it is. How prayerful it is. And the types of things that we do as a people. We still swim in that water yet. Kids who are at that camp are swimming, using that water, having fun. We're having horse games. All kinds of different things. We actually now have a school for kids there at our camp. So there's a lot going on at that camp, and the media is telling us that what we're doing is unlawful. Just because a bunch of Indians gathered, like in the old days. Go back to where at the beginning, what I was telling you. Is when we gathered back then and had ceremonies, they didn't like it. They were afraid of what we were doing. But we weren't doing those things to hurt them. We were doing those things to help them, pray for them. As a people, We don't turn bad on anyone. In our culture, we pray for everyone. That's our culture, Native people's culture across this country. As we look out for Mother Earth, Inchimaka, the one that provides us and nourishes us with all our needs. And today we will still continue to fight. But I ask you, please put the word out there. Please, what's really going on? If you can donate, please donate. Or if you know somebody that can donate, please. Because this, like I said, this is just the beginning. And it's not going to be over with anytime soon. And like I told you, some of your local people from these tribes are there now, supporting this cause. We also had Black Lives Matter group was there. People from all over this country. A couple old retired, people from Germany came. From Alaska, they loaded up, 2 retired folks, loaded up their whole car, whatever they could fit in there. They came down. But now this is also hitting our border, Canadian border. People want to help from Canada and come down, and they've been denied because they're assuming they're coming to this camp. So even the States Patrolman Border is not allowing people to come from Canada to help. They're stopping them. You can't go down there, it's unlawful. You're going to get hurt. Well, who's the one that's really getting hurt? Who's the one that's getting portrayed? It's about money. Sometimes we've got to realize that when we're in this world, we get disconnected because we're so used to different things, materialistic things, and we forget what we should be giving back to. There's always a way back. Everyone sitting here has a culture, one way, shape, or form. You have history behind you. I encourage you guys to know who you really are. Find out who you really are, where you come from. So when they ask you that question, when I refer back to the beginning, so what's your name? Where do you come from? You can actually give them an actual answer. And that's where I come from. This is where my ancestors were. This is where I was born. So, like I said, before we leave, I don't know if we could get some of those handouts. Okay, all the information's on there. If you're going to donate something by mail, make sure you put attention Janelle Lane Game on there. Because we get a lot of mail through our tribe already. And by having that on there, it knows it goes right to the camp. And it's going to start getting cold at the camp now. Firewood, things like that. No, we can't mail firewood, but just anything that you would need to survive in the winter is also a plus. Because these people are here for the long haul. They're not going anywhere until this thing is done, no matter what it takes. So, with that, I guess, I hope I shared enough information for you. I know there's going to be some questions. I can take some questions now. Just anything, even if you don't think it's a legit question, go ahead and ask it, because these things change day to day, and there's always some new developments coming. And I know I'm closing into my 1 hour mark already, but I guess, is there any questions about the pipeline, about our history, anything you think you're wanting to know? Yeah. See, it's supposed to be infinite. Like that's something that was in 1868. I showed you our original territory land, which now is diminished by. We started with 60 million acres. The Great Sioux Nation, 60 million is our original agreement. That's the only agreement our people made with the government. 60 million acres. So now we're down to a little over 8 million acres that they took from our people. Unlawfully, like they say to us, right? We're unlawful, and they took all our land. So now our reservations are split up between, our reservation has 2.3 million acres, other Sioux reservations, add all that up, it's about a little over 8 million acres. But we originally started with 60 million. So you asked about the treaty obligation. We didn't agree that. Today that should be still our land legally, but with acts of Congress, they don't recognize that treaty. Only they want to recognize it when they want to recognize it. And then when they want to abuse it, like times like this, they'll abuse it. That's the government, right? Do that all the time. So as far as your question, that's still original treaty territory land. Even though some private landowner owns it now, that's still original treaty territory land. That should be our land, like the Black Hills. The Black Hills is still ours. Share you a quick story with you. The Black Hills, they took out $3 trillion in gold off our land. In 1980, recently, they offered our tribe $20 million. And they took out $3 trillion. Our people, to this day, didn't accept it. So there's a Congress passed a bill to award the Great Sioux Nation $20 million. That $20 million, where is it at today? It's still sitting in a bank. Our people never took the money, nor will we ever take the money, because that's not important to us. Money's not an issue with us on reservations, and I want you guys to understand that and know that. You may think reservations are poor, and why don't they develop something? But we don't want that. We want to still live off the land. We don't need all these great things. You know, if it has to be us to protect this earth, we'll do it. And like I said, we've shown that. We will continue to do it. But it's over $1 billion now sitting in there. That our tribe, if we wanted to, the Ochete Shigoi, we could take that money today. It's ours, but we refuse to take it. And nor will we ever take it. Because that's still our land. Now the state makes billions of dollars off of tourists there. The state makes a lot of money off of that, bringing people into the Black Hills. You see those 4 president faces up there, right? The monument, that's on our land. You know, it's our land. But thought I'd share that story with you, that they offered us $20 million when they took out $3 trillion of our resources out of that land. Yes?
I'm just wondering, one of the biggest things is awareness. There's a lot of folks that don't understand this, don't know what's going on, don't even know what's happening at all. Is this, I come from we come from about an hour and a half, 2 hours south of here, in Corning, New York, and I know we could get a group together. Is this being recorded, and is there a way to get one of your presentations recorded and get sent to us that we could, to get a copy of it, that we could show to a gathering of churches or something along those lines?
I think, yes, it is being recorded today. And if you want to get in contact with Marion Brown there,
We're putting it on YouTube and we'll let you know the link.
she can find a way to put it out there for you guys. So yeah, we're allowed this to be recorded today because that's why I'm here. And like I said, I was not going to be here because of what happened, but I went to ceremony that night and I was told, you better come out here and tell people what's really going on out there. So a lot of people are not understanding the misinterpretation. What I just showed you was crazy. Well, they didn't use no tear gas, they didn't use no dogs. What did you just see there? Crazy. Happens all the time there. Any other questions? Yes?
Well, I have a comment. I would like to comment, first of all, to our Cleveland Nation representative and say that I realize I'm on his land. I'm their land. So, thank you for the office. Secondly, I'm okay with your struggle. And thirdly, I'm wondering if Leonard Pelletier was part of your tribe, or if you've been following his struggle for a long time, and I get any comments to President Obama and so on. What's the story with Leonard Pelletier?
The story with Leonard Pelletier is he got thrown in at Wounded Knee, and they took that stand, blocked off their land. They blocked off roads like what they're doing to us today, but they actually blocked off roads. And with Leonard, he is a part of the Ochete Shigoi, so he's a part of our Great Sioux Nation. And from my understanding on this story is that, you know how the interrogators get in these rooms. They'll keep you in an interrogation room for 2 days, and they keep using words putting it in your head. Well, they got a hold of Peltier's ex-girlfriend and another one of her friends and interrogated the heck out of them until they got her and the other girl to say what they wanted to say. Now, physically, I can't honestly tell you, did Peltier do it, yes or no? There's no logistical evidence stating that he did that other than what these ladies were saying. But these ladies said that because the interrogators pushed them to say that. Kept them in there for 2 days, making them say those things. And to this day, I think he should be released. He should be a free man, because if this lawsuit came today, there's no facts whatsoever. No proof that he killed any officer. So we asked President Obama about Peltier. Why can't we release him? See, 2 months ago, I don't know if you've seen that, but President Obama signed 33 or 32 pardons. Peltier wasn't on that list. But I found out later after, there's a guy over there, I can't remember his name. He's a high-level executive. He's telling Obama he needs to stay in there. Don't send him out. So there's people over there pushing in D.C., telling them, don't pardon him. Don't pardon him. That's probably why the president didn't pardon him. But in my eyes, from my personal view, and you've seen interrogations happen in the past, they can sway your words, make you say something you didn't want to say. And I think that's what happened. It did happen, and that's why he's in jail yet today. Any other questions? Yes?
Are there any major environmental or human rights organizations that are working actively to support you?
Yes, Amnesty International was there, and they wrote a letter to the governor and the county sheriff, elected officials, threatening them, telling them that if you don't remove this roadblock because you're going against the First Amendment right to protest. If people want to have a right to protest, they have a right to go down there and do it. So there was a lot of First Amendment laws that were broken. And they documented everything down, and they sent a letter physically to the governor, physically to the sheriff, telling them, remove that roadblock. Remove it. Because you're breaking the First Amendment right to protest. So yes, there has been organizations there. Matter of fact, when all this happened with the dogs, now because this is getting big now. Everyone all over the world is watching what's happening. 2 hours later after this happened, DOJ called me from DC. Now they're going to step in now. They're going to step in to be a third party because the Highway Patrol was just sitting there, letting our people get bit, letting our people get maced. Our local police stood there and watched as that happened. And they saw that. They saw the video. They saw that it's not right. So they called me. I referred them to the chairman. Now they're sending a team down, which they were on the ground as of yesterday evening, to be a third-party watch, not for this side or that side, but to specifically make sure that everybody has their rights and they're not violated. So, just that quickly, like I said, it's out there. Thank God for Facebook Live, like I said. Any other questions?
Didn't the United Nations weigh in as well?
The United Nations weighed in, and they said this should be, the Native people should have a place at the table. The Native people should have a say on this pipeline. And we should allow them to be afforded to that. Not basically in those words. But the United Nations thinks that we should be involved in this, and we're not. What I'm saying is a true consultation process. We always say consultation. What does that really mean? Yeah, the Corps of Engineers and Dakota Access Pipeline visited our tribe one time. They came. And we vowed against it. Passed a motion, resolution, said, no, we don't want it here. All they did was they used the checkbox. oh, consultation, we're out of here. But if you know what a true consultation is when you're at a disagreement, you have to come to a conclusion together. That's what consultation means. And that never happened. That was never afforded to our people. They just continued on to try to fast track this process to a nationwide permit 12. And we're demanding a full EIS.
I have a question. I know in 2014, chief was really supposed to be putting the Dakota Access Pipeline. Why is it any different? And I think maybe it's a silly question in a sense. Why is it any different in terms of the impact it will have on the people above Bismarck as opposed to above where y'all are?
There is no different. And that's why I'm telling you when I said that earlier, is that when they proposed it north of Bismarck, the governor stepped in and said, no, it's going to affect our community if this were to break. Like he was thinking automatically, like it's going to contaminate our water if they put this through here. So they rerouted it. And when they rerouted it, the consultation process happened, but it was never resolved. And also, now they're saying this is the safest pipeline ever built. Right? This is the best technology. We never went that far into the ground before under a river. It's not going to break. But there's plates under there. And it's facts, it's science. That the Missouri River where we live, it shifts a lot. It changes. If we were to put a pole going a mile down, it probably wouldn't last 2 years, that pole would snap. Because it changes, it moves. So we told them that as well. And it's a lot of it is just deaf ears because it comes to money. And I hear exactly what you're saying. That's what gives them a black eye. Is that should have went north of Bismarck. But no, who's gonna pay the cost again? Who's gonna be the ones that are gonna have to benefit for the national interest? Native people. It's been there for years. We've given up so much for the national interest of this country to make it better, but they continue to keep coming after us. There's going to be a day, and I guarantee you, that our tribal reservations are going to be the most pristine land in the world. Because everywhere off the reservation, they're tearing it up. And when that happens, where are they going to try to go? They're going to come back to the reservation and take more. That's what they've been doing for years and years and years. Any other questions? Yes?
Was the roadblock removed?
As far as I know, it was still there, unless it happened today. But I didn't get any word today. Maybe it's on my email. But as of yesterday, no, the roadblock is still there. And we've been continuing to try to tell the governor, groups, organizations, UN, a lot of people stepping in, telling them, we'll remove that roadblock. It's in violation. You know, and I know we're recorded right now, and I don't really want to get into specifics on what our tribe is going to do moving forward. But you know, there is something that we're going to move forward on with the state because they've been, like I said, this has been a total mess. The state's doing a lot of wrongdoings to our people, and they're not doing things the way they're supposed to be doing, and they are breaking rights whether they know it or not. They're breaking our rights, but they're going to continue to do that because who oversees them? And they're not on tribal land, they're just a half mile north of it, right? It's a state road. You can do that type of stuff. Yeah.
Democracy Now! Is the type of dogs on this website, and it should be on their program coming up at 1 o'clock or whatever it is on DirecTV.
Yep.
And also Winterfell Cheers, according to what the recording is, got a hearing tomorrow. About amnesty, but his hearing is tomorrow.
That's something, like I said, is I know this, that there's people in DC that don't want him to be released. So, you know, and he's always had hearings, I don't know how many hearings he had in the past,